So the whole focus of Unit 3 is dealing with counting, or more specifically, in how many ways can an event or events happen. So what we have here is a map of Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and the situation we have is that Serge is living in Winnipeg, which is over here on the right, and he's making a trip to Regina and then on to Saskatoon. They've mapped out the trip and they've chosen that they can go from Winnipeg to Regina in a couple of different ways, and same thing from Regina to Saskatoon. So what we want to know is, in how many different ways is that possible? Well, if we start tracing out, we can count, go from Winnipeg to Regina down here through Weyburn, and then we can go from Regina to Saskatoon this way, so that's one. Erase that off. We could also still go to Regina through Weyburn, and then go to Saskatoon going straight north and across. There's two. Erase that off. We could choose a different method going from Winnipeg to Regina. We can go this way through Brandon, and then up to Saskatoon this way. 3. Likewise, we could do Winnipeg to Regina through Brandon in the middle here, and then straight north and across. There's a 4th way. And last, we can look at going from Winnipeg to Regina to the north through Yorkton, and then to Saskatoon this way. There's 5. And one more. Go from Winnipeg through Yorkton, and then to Saskatoon this way. That's 6. Now every single one of these ways is valid. It gets us from Winnipeg to Regina, and then Regina to Saskatoon. But there has to be an easier way to count these than just to go through every possibility. It's not that bad with a small set like this, but when we start getting into bigger sets, it does get more complicated, so we need a bit of a shortcut. Well, we have 2 things that need to happen. We need to get from Winnipeg to Regina, and we also need to get then from Regina to Saskatoon. Well, if we start counting and looking at the actual number of ways, there's 3 different ways we can get from Winnipeg to Regina, and 2 different ways we can get from Regina to Saskatoon. If we take and we multiply these, because for each of the ways of getting Winnipeg to Regina, we have one way of getting Regina to Saskatoon, we get the 6 ways that we counted. Now, moving on to the next slide, I've altered the map a little bit. Now I've added some different routes to get to each place. So Winnipeg to Regina, we still have one route through Weyburn, one through Brandon, one through Yorkton as we had before, but now I've added a 4th one that goes through Dauphin first. Likewise, going to Saskatoon, we can take that straight highway, we can go north and then across, or we can go west to Swift Current and then up. So looking at this, if we take these routes into account, now how many ways do we have to make this trip? Well, we have 4 ways. I'll pick a different color, just yellow doesn't show up great. We have 4 ways of getting from Winnipeg to Regina, multiplied by 3 ways of getting Regina to Saskatoon, would give us 12 ways in total.